Hello everyone, welcome to another Daily Muppet. Again, apologize for the delay or gap in the videos. Just had a lot going on at work. But I wanted to give an update on really just the sale process and what's going on. I know there's a lot of confusion, a lot of dismay, and a lot of worry about what's been happening. It's been a weird week. For the sale, and I just want to give some insight in terms of the information that I have, as well as kind of explain a few things and then, tell you my opinion is on all of it. At the start of the week, it looked like what's happening, we had Sheikh Jassim's party visit Old Trafford, spend the whole day there. Ineos visit Old Trafford, spend the whole day, out there, the two of them on separate days between there and Carrington and the talks and all of that. And I know for certain, as from the side that I get information on, that at that point in time, the Ineos side felt like they didn't feel like there was anything wrong with the deal or getting a deal done, or that there'd be an issue having the Glazers sell. But that there was a lot to do. And then, beginning of the week, I think everybody's expecting these bids by Wednesday. It's looking good. It's looking great. Wednesday night comes around and suddenly you're hearing bids are in, and then they're not. None of them. The bids didn't arrive in time, and then we find out that they've been asking for extensions. And then we start seeing a lot of stories about the Glazers wanting to stay, not wanting to let go of the club at all, that they're not likely to sell, things like that. So I wanted to just touch on this and say what I can about all of it. I tweeted a couple things out. One of the things I've said since the beginning is not to hang on to every report and get very excited or very sad, very, worried about the situation, because it's a process and there's a lot of moving parts, and a lot of people who are talking don't know as much as they think they do. That's not me talking myself up at all. Actually, quite the reverse. I'll explain that in a second. And it becomes very misleading. So first, I want to tell you and go over a little bit of what the issue is with the reporting, why it's so back and forth, why it is the way it is. You see today, even now, Jassim's bid is in. Last night, Kave saying, process will go with or without him, and all of that. And why there seems to be like this statement, then this statement, then this statement, then this statement. Are these guys making it all up? And the answer is no, but it's kind of a representative of the poor state of football journalism, which is one of the reasons why we started the Muppeteers in the first place, was because a lot of the information was pretty mediocre. And it's not that it's wrong, it's how it's reported. And it just becomes extremely hard for fans, and United fans especially, with how much press there is about the club, to know what's going on and understand it. So I want to give you, I was talking with somebody in the industry and somebody else on one of the parties' sides, and I got an explanation on where all these reports are coming from and why you can practically write them off. And I mean that seriously. And just wait. Because here's what happens, okay? When you get the thing about Ineos have submitted their bid, what does that mean? What does that mean when those guys are reporting it, the tier ones? It means that Ineos, somebody at Ineos, sent a communication to all of these journalists to tell them our bid is in. That's it. Okay? Now, you may think that's fine then for the reports to say bid is in, bid is in, bid is in, like they did on Wednesday for Sheikh Jassim and Ineos. It's not. That's inaccurate reporting, and it's actually poor journalism. The headline should read, Ineos claim their bid is in, with an article stating that they're checking this out, seeing if it's true, looking at it, just asking Rain if they have received a bid, where they would say then no comment, or Rain would have replied no, and then you have a different report. This isn't journalism. This is mouthpiecing parties, and that's a lot of what's happened on this entire process, and that makes it very confusing for fans. In years past, or even you've seen examples of it during this process, if a party or a business or a company or a group wanted to say something, they would put a statement out, and that statement might be released to press and put out as a statement from those individuals, parties, groups, or what have you. And then it would say, INEOS released statement. We've submitted our bid. Like the statements of intent to buy the club and how they said it, you got all those PR reports from Keegan about Qatar blowing away bids and things, and they haven't followed up on that. That's all PR. That's all what I'm talking about. None of that is true. It's just someone says, say this, and they say it. But then you had the different reports, which was the page statement from Sheikh Jassim and Qatar about what they wanted to do. You had the page statement from INEOS about what they wanted to do. That's all that should be reported when these types of things are passed along, and the process would be a lot less confusing. The journalists, really what they should be doing is when they're receiving information from one side or receiving information from the other, finding out what the truth is, not just reporting what is said. But this is where I've had a problem with football journalism for some time, is that that's how it always is. It's how it is for transfers. That's how it is for everything else. There's very few journalists who dig in to find out what's really going on instead of just what is said or what is passed along. I think David Ornstein does an amazing job of this. It's one of the reasons he's very, very good at transfers and doesn't tend to get misled, is he doesn't just write, they say blah. He, you can tell, has good enough sources, good enough investigation into things to find out what's really going on in detail. And I think he knows a lot more than he says. But in this process, this is a part of the problem. On Wednesday, they were all told bid is in. They didn't know bid was in. And then when they contact Rain, later they find out it wasn't. So why write articles and headlines that the bid is in when you can't confirm it? You shouldn't be doing that. And it's misleading to United fans. It's misleading to the process. But that leads me to the point of what's actually happening is all the talk that you see is coming from Rain. It's not the Glazers. When they say Glazers want XYZ, it's not Avram Glazer sending a text to Kave saying that. It's Rain saying they want this or they won't sell. They want this or they won't sell. They want this or they won't sell. And that's really what's going on here. That's all that there is that's going on here is it's this narrative party from both sides, from all sides, I should say, INEOS, Qatar, and Rain, just sending news, sending pieces of information out, and getting and wanting it out there. And they're all playing it for their own gain. And then, of course, as fans, then you have to ride the back and forth, the pendulum and the roller coaster of the whole situation, which can be very frustrating. So what really happened, as far as I understand it, is that both INEOS and Qatar understood that at the prices they were looking at, that their bids would likely be rejected. And they took some more time to look at potentially raising their offers, doing things like proof of funding, and all of that, and then intended to come back in and place their bids, which they claim they have done now. And we'll see. We don't know what the prices are. It's expected to be improved, but at this point in time, all we can do is wait for feedback. And that's what they were doing, and that's why they asked for the extensions, is, again, you get these words from someone inside Rain that gets to them, oh, that number won't be accepted, and then they have to work on it more, put in a different bid, raise funds, things like that. And that's what's going on. And then, when I look at the overall process and people wonder what's happening, could Glazers really not sell? Are they not going to move forward? Do they not want to? All of that. The thing I would say is that it reminds me a lot of, after the first round, you had the story that come out from The Athletic about they don't really want to sell. Avram decides to fly out to the League Cup final. And as I said at that time, this was, to me, very much just a game, a narrative game of trying to raise the bids. Then the parties had communication over the next 24, 48 hours. As I heard it, they gave willingness to increase their offers. And then magically everybody moves into the second bidding phase 2 days later. So obviously all of that, and then you got stories about how they're determined sellers, they're very interested, it's likely to move into a full sale by the end of the month, and like it exploded. Oh, it's moving quick, it's moving fast, it's moving great. Again, part of the problem is all of that is coming just from Rain and people like that just spitting lines out. Point being, though, is that it's the same game being played each round. After the first round, it's not enough. We want more money. After the second round, we want more money. That's all there is to it. The Glazers want more money. Does that mean they could not sell? Sure. They want more money. They do want more money. But it's still the same game. It's still the same game. They didn't start this process to completely waste time. They didn't start this process thinking of no intention to sell. They started this process because they really do need to sell still at this point in time. And unless they have a major offer to buy out the siblings, with that money being reinvested, which I don't understand how it could, then it still makes the most sense that they need to sell and that the game is just being played for more money. It reminds me very much of that in the first round of now. There'll be some feedback, some communication while they're saying we don't want to sell. And if the parties are willing to pay, a compromised price, then I think it'll get done still. I warned about the $6 billion price because I didn't think that it was any chance anyone was going to reach that right now. When there was word about Qatar doing that, I said no. I heard they were willing to increase their amount, same with Ineos, but more around 5, and that's what's being reported. I think that 5.5 is kind of the magic number on all of this. And I think part of the problem that you have right now and where it's getting very confusing is that the Glazers know and Rain Group know or believe they can just keep getting Qatar to up their price. And maybe they can. Maybe they can. I don't think they can to Ineos, but I think they probably can to Qatar, keep getting them to raise their price. And part of that is a bed of Qatar's own making. All those briefs, all the thing I'm just talking about. It's going to end up where it's part of the reason why we're seeing these back and forth briefs now, where they think they can just keep pushing them up to the highest number possible. But that's what the game is all about right now. It's getting the highest number possible from the parties involved. That's the major reason for all of the briefs back and forth. And a lot of the news and information, it's not like that people are going and having conversations with Glazers and they're changing their mind and this and that. It's all being pretty much independently handled by Rain. So on one day they're determined sellers and one day they don't want to sell, that's Rain. That's Rain saying, we want more money. That's what it is. So let's see what happens. That's all I can really advise. It's all I've been trying to advise mostly from the beginning. I know that people want regular and constant updates, and there are updates here and there that are worth mentioning, like they're willing to increase their bids and go up with the price, and the negotiations will continue. But that's the only thing that should be stated, and that's the only thing that's really happened over the last few weeks. Information should be what is updated, and I'll pass along whatever information that I have. I'm still in touch. Nobody has yet said anything. It's been real quiet, but I did get word from on the Ineos side about increasing the offer and all of that, and that they needed a bit more time to do it, but they still believe they're moving forward in the process, and I think that would apply to both parties then. So we'll just have to see what happens, and specifically wait for the feedback from Rain Group to the bids. They say it'll take a week. It's going to take less than that. They're going to start getting feedback in the next day or two, or probably by Monday, Tuesday, same as last time. They're going to get feedback before that, and then it may be that in a week, publicly, the next step of the process or what have you comes out. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a third round after these bids, just trying to keep pumping the price up a little bit more. It's all about the money. It's always been. But I would really like to see the reporting be a bit different. And I'm hoping that the situation Wednesday with them getting kind of burnt on the whole thing means that, even these tier 1 journalists are going to be actually doing a little bit more investigative journalism instead of mouthpiece journalism, and checking out the information that is being said to them with different areas and seeing if they can determine, what's true, and a little bit less of the PR. Overall, I would just like a little bit less chatter all around and just get on with it, get the bids in. I think it's a better sign from Qatar the last few days that they've been quiet and just getting the bid in. Maybe, they've realized as well that it's not helping them, because I don't think it is overall. And with that, I think that now they can, just put your nose to the ground and get the bids in. And and hopefully we can get the sale done still and have it change hands, okay? Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications on. I'll see you in the next one.